the etheric body. Okay, yes, the etheric body is a body, but it differs from our other bodies in that it doesn't have a plane of nature of its own. And let's be clear about this. There is no etheric plane of nature. There's an etheric level of matter which is actually physical, but there's no etheric plane. Now, the physical body has a physical plane, the physical plane to operate on. The astral emotional body has the astral plane, and the mental body has the mental plane. So each of those bodies has its own plane of nature on which to function, on which to manifest. Now, the etheric body differs from that in that etheric material, or the etheric level of matter, is actually physical, but science doesn't recognise it. Theosophy postulates it, science doesn't recognise it, science has yet to catch up. And the etheric body is a body because it can separate from the physical. It's not more of an ancillary of the physical body, not really a part of the physical body, really an ancillary of the physical body, because it can separate during life. In fact, if it separates during life, there is normally a problem, and it separates at the end of physical life, at the time of death. And it can sometimes, I don't know, it can travel a short distance, I believe, but that's a highly speculative area. The astral body is more famous for travelling. It's also referred to as the etheric double because it looks like we do, and it's the source of visions in graveyards of people who've died, people who are buried there. And that's just the shell of the old etheric body, and there's a tendency after physical death for the etheric body to remain close, or the etheric body containing the non-physical parts of man to remain close to the physical body, which is a good argument for cremation, and this is what happens in graveyards. Now, the job of the etheric body is to absorb prana, or life energy, during physical life. Central job, it absorbs prana from the sun, it keeps us alive for the duration of our physical life, and at the end of physical life it withdraws. Now, what really happens here is that at the end of physical life it withdraws. Now, what really happens here is that if you die a natural death, is that eventually the body becomes incapable of coping with the amount of prana that is coming into it, and it becomes too much and physical death occurs. And as an analogy of this, I would say, if you remember the old-fashioned 2-bar electric fires that I haven't seen one for quite some time, the old-fashioned 2-bar electric fires, and eventually one of the bars would get to the point, this is after a few years, that it could no longer stand the electricity coming through it, and it would just go whoomp and go out, and just burn out. And I think there is an analogy there between the absorbing prana and the physical body. Eventually the body can't take the prana, and that's what leads to physical death. Now, at the point of death, something quite interesting happens. We've all got a magnetic field, but our polarity is the opposite to that of the Earth. But at the point of physical death, polarity reverses to the same, and this forces the etheric body out of the physical body. And let's say in the case of a normal death, it hovers above, it rises above the physical body, attached by a silver cord. It may come out at other times attached by this silver cord, but at the point of death, the silver cord breaks. That's it. You're moving on. There's no going back, and for all practical purposes, your physical life has ended. Now, the etheric body does have an important function here is it does act as an envelope for the non-physical parts of man. It also tries to remain close to the physical, of which it was sort of joined to for the duration of life. And one of the reasons that traditional Hindu funerals take place at 6 o'clock the following morning after death is that if you destroy the physical body, then the non-physical parts of man have nothing to attach to, and they can move on. Now, what happens is that the non-physical parts break out of this etheric shell that's formed by basically the dead etheric body, because that's now it served its purpose, and they then move on to karma loka, and that's the natural order of things. Unfortunately, and this is Twilight Zone stuff, people who don't accept they're dead and that sort of thing can end up in a sort of netherworld, hovering over the physical body in a state of what you could call it, limbo, not moving on and not accepting that they've died. And that can go on for some time. Cremating the physical body dispenses with that, because there is actually nothing then to attach to, which is why I think most Blavatsky was cremated. Theosophists favour cremation. Also, there are no stories of, I don't think, of ghosts wraiths in crematoriums. They're strictly the preserve of graveyards. Anyway, the etheric body, so I think I've covered most of the main points of it there. Oh yes, the healing side of it. Yeah. It absorbs life energy. Now, if there's any disruption in the flow of energy, becomes physical illness. Etheric healers claim, people who have etheric sight, will find illness manifesting in the etheric body before it manifests in the physical. And because any physical illness will be an interruption or disruption to the normal flow of energy through the body. And there are many systems of healing that are based on the etheric body. I won't go into those here because I'm not really qualified, but etheric healers sort of working with this concept of the etheric body and the flow of energy through the body, and that is very common in healing. And the physical state of your body, and this is, some people with etheric sight can see this. I see people walking down the street and they can actually see illnesses within people based on their view of the etheric body, and can give very, very good diagnosis.